Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. All the focus is now shifted to the World T20. A lot of teams are announcing the squads, and today we look at the Australian squad in this episode. The home team, the defending champions, and this looks like a very, very strong squad. Let me read it out for you. In the beginning, Aaron Finch is the captain, Ashton Agar, Pat Cummins, Tim David, Josh Hazelwood, Josh Inglis, Mitchell Marsh, Glenn Maxwell, Kane Richardson, Stephen Smith, Mitchell Stark, Marcus Stoinis, Matthew Wade, David Warner, and Adam Zampa. If you look at the squad, all bases are covered. They have a explosive batting or opening pair. They have an anchor in Steve Smith, and they have power hitters and Tim David. Glenn Maxwell, Mitchell Marsh can both anchor and attack. So he's a very good utility player as well. Very versatile. He can provide 4 overs with the ball, and they have Marcus Stoinis there as well to finish it off. Him and Matthew Wade. So they have plenty of batting in terms of the bowling, an experienced unit, and especially in these conditions, it'll be suited to them. Pat Cummins, he'll get that extra bounce. He can get some movement with the new ball. You have Josh Hazelwood, who's really improved as a T20 cricketer, especially after playing in the IPL under MS Dhoni. He's mentioned that as well. A much better bowler than he was before in this format. Then you have, of course, Mitchell Stark, who gives you that left arm angle, and he's a natural wicket taker. He'll attack the stumps. Sometimes he will get hit, but more often than not, he will try and pick up wickets for the team and make those breakthroughs which are vital in match situations. So I think if you look at this, you have batsmen, you have all-rounders, you have bowlers. It's a great squad. You have Adam Zampa, an excellent spinner. I think he's one of the most underrated spinners in the world right now. In the last T20, he was Australia's main man with the ball. Outstanding bowling, and in these conditions, the big boundaries. He might not get the same purchase he did in Dubai, but the big boundaries and stuff would allow him to pick up wickets. He just needs to be willing to flight the ball and use his variations, and his key thing will be to try and pick up wickets. And that's why I feel this Australian team is extremely, extremely strong. If you look at the weakness, would be if there are injuries. We already know for the India series, there's 3 injuries, the 3 replacements. So Mitchell Stark won't be playing, Mitchell Marsh won't be playing, and Marcus Stoinis. These are 3 vital first 11 players. And if they're not there in the World T20, then Australia's side, they do have backups, but it will get hampered. And that's why maybe they took this decision and not to play them right now, not to increase the injury. Apparently they're not that serious, so I think they should be fit for the T20 World Cup. But that's the thing with Australia. If something happens to someone like a Maxwell, a Stoinis, even a Mitchell Marsh, if the system gets a bit up and down, then due to injuries, then it could cause issues. But apart from that, it's a very solid squad. They're playing in home conditions, mind you, so I think it's going to be a lethal team. It's not going to be easy team to beat. And because their batting is stacked, they'll be allowed to attack from ball 1. David Warner won't leave an opportunity to attack Aaron Finch as well. Warner and Finch have had varied forms. So if they don't waste balls, if they can get their team off to a flyer, then they have the batting. We don't even know if Tim David's going to play, but if he plays, he's an outstanding striker of the ball. You have Maxwell, who can accelerate at any time, bat at a strike rate of 200 if needed. Stoinis and Wade, they can finish off the game. Stoinis can also float if needed. So there's plenty of options there. Steve Smith will play the anchor. How he plays, his role could be vital as well, because at the same time, you want to play aggressive cricket. But if the pitch is a bit up and down, then someone like a Steve Smith could help in these conditions. So let's see what happens with Australia. But right now, I think this is an excellent squad, the home team in this World Cup. And I feel that, semifinals, anything less than a semifinals will be disappointing. I think they should make it to the top 4. And if not the finals also, I think they're one of the favorites in this tournament. Yes, there are other really good teams, but because they understand the conditions, because they're defending champions as well, they know how to win. Mentally, they're very strong, our Australians. I think this gives them an added advantage, and that's why I feel they're one of the favorites, if not the favorites, to win this World Cup. Again, T20 is such a format that one bad game up and down and everything can change. But if they play their full strength 11, I feel that Australia can win this tournament. If you look at the 11, their main thing would be like Steve Smith or Tim David. That would be an option they'll have to consider. But because they have Maxi there, they have Marsh, they have they have Maxi, Marsh, Stoinis. They have plenty of hitters as well. So maybe someone like Tim David might sit out. Again, Tim David provides with the ball, so does Mitchell Marsh. You can have a face-off between them as well for a spot. Josh Inglis is a very good backup to have to Matthew Wade. He's someone who had a very good domestic tournament. He's a very exciting wicketkeeper batsman, and he's a good backup. So they have backup there. Ashton Agar, in Dubai he played almost every game, and it worked out in the system that they played. But I don't know if he's going to play in Australia every game. They might go with the spinner, and then they have Maxwell, and if they play Tim David, Mitchell Marsh, Marcus Stoinis, they have part-time options. And if you want a specific spinner, Maxwell can provide you that in the power play. So I don't know if Ashton Agar will get a position in the starting 11 initially, but as the pitches wear down, if there is any turn, like especially in Adelaide or Melbourne, for that matter of fact, then maybe you can play Ashton Agar. But I think he might sit out. He might not have as crucial role as he did in the last World Cup, because in Dubai conditions you had to play two spinners. But here, someone like an Ashton Agar might sit out. Adam Zampa is the spinner for me, and Maxwell will always provide overs in the power play. So he's someone, but it's good to have backup like that. Someone like an Ashton Agar can provide with the bat and ball. It's good to have him in the squad. And the main player that I want to see is Tim David. He's been class in all T20 leagues so far. In the IPL, there's some gems that he played. In the PSL, he played some beautiful innings, CAPL as well. So he's somebody that I'm looking out and seeing if he does get a start in the tournament, sometime in the tournament, then I'm really excited to see how he plays. Key players, a key player for Australia, you can go any player and pick. You can pick David Warner, you can pick Steve Smith, you can pick Mitchell Marsh, you can pick Zampa, Pat Cummins, but I'm going to go with Glenn Maxwell. I think he's going to be a key player. His form will be very important. Not only does he have the ability to pick up wickets, but the main thing is his batting, and he can convert strike rates from 100 to 200. He can rotate the strike as well. Very good between the wickets. An awesome fielder. He did the vice captaincy job in the last World Cup. He's a mature guy. He understands the game well. He can have a good influence on the other players. So Maxwell for me is the key player to watch out for from this Australian squad. It's not like a risky pick or anything like that, but I just feel that he's someone who can take the game to the opposition and really win matches and tournaments for Australia. So watch out for Glenn Maxwell, and I think these conditions will ideally help him much more than Dubai conditions. The ball will come onto the bat. He's very good against the short ball. He has the 360 shots. He can play the lap, the scoop, and very powerful down the ground as well. So he'll open up the field. It'll be difficult for bowlers to bowl at him, especially if he comes at number 4. I think that's his position, because you have finishers in this team. So give Maxwell as much as time as possible. And sometimes, that might be, if he's batting at number 4, he might still only get 5-6 overs. That's still a good position for him. But yeah, I think Maxwell is somebody who will be very important for Australia. And if he's fully fit and in form, he can take this team to places. And that for me, he's the player to watch out for. But I think that pretty much wraps it up in terms of the Australian squad. We'll go into detail in terms of the starting 11 and everything as we get closer to the World Cup. Also with the India series, we'll have a close eye on it. There's a few big players, like we mentioned earlier, that are not playing, and how do the backups come and how do they perform will be interesting to see as well. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll get you the latest from the cricketing world as we head to the T20 World Cup. Thank you so much.